Hey guys, it's Jake Boom with Alpha Angler. I wanted to show you guys a new jig that I think is pretty cool. Normally we're not really fired up about one brand or another, but Striking seems to keep getting it right when they sign up these new pro staffers and refine a product. And for instance, I really like this Striking jig. It's a skipping jig, and they signed Andy Montgomery, who is a skipping machine. I think he used to be with Shooter Lures, but they used to make a jig and they would have to wire tie the skirt on there because he would skip under a dock so fast. Now if you take your Zilla, which I think is probably one of the best dock skipping rods that you can use, it generates a lot of tip speed. You're going to want a jig like this, and I'll show you why. Andy Montgomery's jig uses a screw lock instead of a standard like bait keeper, like a little where they molded in the where they molded a little hooker in. Instead they're using a little screw lock. And that screw lock is awesome because if you take and screw your bait in like this one, that bait's not coming off. I'm pulling really hard. The benefit of that is you no longer need to wire tie the skirt on the jig. Now you can just use this jig, this skipping jig, this Striking skipping jig. This is a 3/8, and light speed this baby under a dock with your Zilla. And the other cool thing about a jig like this that I learned from the guys that are really good at it, from some of our staffers, is guys tend to want to cut down the top of this weed guard when they feel like it's too stiff. If you do that, when you zip this bad dog under a dock, sometimes you'll get the bait to come around, the legs of the tentacles to come around and catch the hook. Instead, don't cut the top off of this. This is the perfect gap and the perfect angle. If you really want to lighten this up, like you feel like you're having a hard time getting the hook, or you want to lighten up the pressure of this weed guard, just take a couple strands out of it, but leave it long so that the tentacles don't come back around. I suggest what we like to use. I'm a big fan of these LFS Lures. This is a couple-year-old reel, but it's still amazing. Put it on a Zilla, 15-pound test, and then ball